Have you ever imagined today's life 10 years ago? I have. And I believe many of us sitting here, especially if you grew up in China during primary school times, you probably were been assigned to write something like Life in 10 Years or The Future as a Chinese writing assignment. And here's what I wrote. And thanks to AI, I was able to turn my words and imagination into something we can all actually see. So this is my imagination of today's life. As you can see, there's no pollution. The cars are flying in the air. And also, in school, students don't need to have backpacks anymore. Everything is just in that screen. This is my version of the 2026. But as if we look around here, there's nothing special. It felt normal. So probably I made a mistake about imagining the future. But I don't think I'm the only one who made the mistake. This is what people are feeling, are imagining about the year 2000, 100 years ago. So technically, we should fly right now. But unfortunately, we can't. Such a shame. But as we can see, these are very similar mistakes we made, again and again. And to start here feels strange. My name is Pei Hong, and I'm just 16. Standing here, I really admire all of your courage to pay and listen from a 16-year-old. What are you exactly expecting from me, from a 16-year-old, to help reimagine the future? It felt quite ironic, because what I all know is just about homework, assignment, and assignment. That's what a 16-year-old student do. But however, when I first saw this theme, reimagining the future, I had two reactions. The first was, oh my God, this is way too big. In the future, we got AI, AGI, SpaceX, climate change, longevity, BCI. There's so many topics that it feels like it could swallow you even before you finish your introduction. However, the second reaction was, maybe that is exactly why it matters. Because maybe the future isn't hard to predict. It's just we didn't find the right way. And that's why we need to reimagine the future. For a long time, we imagined the future through science fiction movies. In iRobot, those self-driving cars looked so cinematic and unreal. In Iron Man, those floating digital interfaces. Wow, that's super cool. But these no longer only exist in science fiction movies anymore. It starts entering our daily life. We got self-driving cars. We've got those floating digital interfaces. And at some point, the future's already entering our daily life. My mom uses ChatGPT in her work. We all use it for homework. And to be honest, we use it much more than we should. My little brother uses Doubao. He can talk it for hours, from cartoons to Ultraman to what he really encountered in life. And AI is even entering schools, in classrooms, from PE data collecting to creative learning. And if you have used one of those AI image tools, you will find out how strange it feels. As you please take a look on the screen. It seems like a beautiful lady, right? But is it really beautiful? Or is it a lady? Unfortunately, both not. It's me. This is an original picture I submitted to TED. I took this in the backyard of my community, but I can be anywhere. Somewhere in the Bay Area, somewhere under the Eiffel Tower, or somewhere besides the Statue of Liberty. I'm anywhere. And I can dress all kinds, like that. Or I can wear a suit. And you might notice there's so many bananas, right? Because that actually could be me. It's weird, right? It's like I only generate these images, it only costs me for a second. And then the reality feels editable. It's terrifying because what we see reality itself may actually not be the real itself. And the even strange part is that even as if the future becomes more present in our life, we do not necessarily imagine it deeper. Sometimes we imagine it smaller. We're very good at imagining what the future can do, but we're less good at imagining what it should matter. For imagining a useful tool in the future, that's very easy. But for imagining a meaningful life, that's a little bit hard. A more reflective society, even harder. So, at some point, if you notice it often enough, the future stops feeling like a feature of tools. It starts feeling like a feature of life. And suddenly, our world turns to be like a giant McDonald's. Well, literally, I do not mean that our future smells like French fries. It's the logic behind it. In the 1980s, one of the sociologists proposed a concept, McDonaldization. He said that our future is full of efficiency, predictability, and control. Well, stop, don't be terrified by all of these words. I'll explain it. So imagine you're making a Big Mac. What we need to do, we need to toast the bun, grill the beef, add the lettuce, add the pickles, add the special sauce. And then we layer it and wrap it. I'm actually getting hungry about it. But every step is divided and streamlined so that the food can be fast and easy. This is so-called as efficiency. And we all know that the Big Mac tastes the same in all around the country, all around the world. Because McDonald's uses the same ingredients, same kitchen tools, and also same cooking procedure. That's so-called as predictability and control. Once you notice that logic, you start finding there's so many Big Macs everywhere in our world. We want things to be faster, to be easier to manage, and easier to control. At some point, it feels like we want to optimize our society. And for me, like us as students, feels this especially. For many of us, the future sounds kind of like a set of theories to get right. Like, what major? What college? Which path? How early and how fast? The future suddenly stops sounding like a life. It starts sound to like be a strategy. It's like we're not preparing the future anymore. We are kind of reducing it to what can be optimized. Well, however, optimization sounds good. It offers fewer mistakes. It's easier to manage, easier to measure. But really think about it. One of the greatest expeditions among human history. When Columbus set out from Spain in 1492, he's got no precise maps. Of course, no GPS or AIs. He didn't even exactly know where he would end up to. And maybe he's such a bad sailor. He ended up to America. Well, actually, he discovers the Americas. But imagine if this journey took place in real life right now. What will happen? With precise maps, precise navigations with no deviation, Columbus will just end up exactly to where he intended to go, India. That sounds super efficient, but it feels like there's something missing. Nobody will remember him as he who discovered the Americas. Because making things meaningful never means getting the thing right. Sometimes we need to step off course. And I think there's another reason why we imagine the future so narrowly. Let me ask you something. What were you doing 10 years ago? And what matters to you the most back then? Do you think you're still the same person as you are right now? And the same person back to 10 years? Really think about it for a second. For most people, I think the answer is probably quite obvious. We're not the same person. So there's a huge difference. But here comes the harder question. 10 years from now on, how much do you think you will still change? Not just getting older, not just getting more tired. Think about your personality, your traits, what matters to you, your priorities. Do they still stay the same? Think about it. Well, for me, 10 years ago, I would have no idea that I would be standing here today, which proves that I'm really not good at imagining my future self. And I don't think I'm the only one, so I want to test it. I made a questionnaire where there's 115 participants, different age, and I offered them a few questions. Compared to 10 years ago, how much and what matters to them have changed? How do they value it? And here, the pattern is quite interesting. Most of them, and even 75% of them said, they have changed a lot compared to the past 10 years. But when I asked them about the future, the next 10 years, how much do they think they will still change? Most of them didn't think that there will be huge changes among them. So that's kind of weird, because we can notice big change, huge changes behind us. But once we start to imagine our future self, we took the current self and just stretch it forward. We underestimate how much we can change in the future. And that's so-called as the end of history illusion, which I think it really matters, because if it really works like this, then of course we feel this future narrow. It starts to feel like something we need to control early. The future for us, we feel it very, very far. But actually, it's not. It's near us. Very, very close. Speaking of the present, we may think about today or this moment. Speaking about the future, you may think about it tomorrow. It's the next hour. Or maybe it's just the next second. Boom, 1 second passes. Congratulations, you guys just experienced the future with me. That's the future. And then another second passes. The future becomes the present. Next second, the present becomes the past. This is how it works like. Tomorrow feels like a future until it becomes today. Next week feels distant until it becomes partly a routine. 10 years, wow, that's very far away. Until when it arrives, we feel nothing special. It's just all normal lives. We're super familiar to the quote that future has arrived. But I don't think so. I think future will never arrive, because at the moment when future arrives, it becomes the present. It's just now, this moment. Future only exists in our imaginations. It's not something real. It's something in our mind. And I know a lot of us, including me, we're quite anxious about the future. The future is going to replace that, replace this. What are we going to do in the future? But to be honest, we're just being terrified by something that we imagine about. We imagine a monster, and we're scared by it. So today I want to urge everybody to give up that kind of anxiety, because it makes no sense. And since we keep getting matured and we keep changing, so maybe today's limit are always not tomorrow's destiny, which means that even though you cannot do it today, there's a saying, you cannot finish today. It doesn't mean you cannot do it tomorrow. We are human, and we're constantly changing. When we enter the future self, we're somebody shaped by experiences, by times, and by decisions we haven't even made it yet. That's us. And even in biological term, we're kept constantly changing through metabolism. It's hard to notice, but maybe that's why most of the people are drawn to the idea that every 7 years we become a new person. And that leads to an old philosophical question. You guys may have heard this before. The ship of Theseus is that imagine a ship sailing in the sea, where I replace every part of the ship until there's nothing original anymore. Then, is it still the same ship? Is it still called the ship of Theseus? Or if we're kept constantly changing, piece by piece and cell by cell, then what does it mean to imagine a future self than using a current self? Whew, this sounds like a relief because there's so many things that I can still not handle. It's like tomorrow's homework. And I think I'll just leave it to AI. That's how it goes. For most of the tech talk, we just end it here. I spread my ideas, just a little bit sense of humor, but I want to add up to something. So ironically, standing right here, I'm telling you guys to stop being anxious about the future. But let me tell you something. When yesterday I was doing a rehearsal, I was so nervous about today. I was trembling when I was speaking. I didn't even notice it until my teacher told me that. This is how nervous I was. But today, standing here, it feels nothing. It feels calm, because that's the future self. And you never know what will happen in the future. Today, we taught you what to do in the future, what it matters, what it doesn't, but none of us said how we should do it. So I think next time, when we face some moments, it's really normal for us to struggle. Take a deep breath and calm down. Because you're not alone. You're someone shaped by time and by experiences. Thank you.